So the challenge I see with programmatic and branding initiatives, and I'll focus it specifically on native, right? Because I think that's something of topical interest at the moment. The whole concept of native is that the content has to elegantly intertwine with the editorial experience. I don't know how that becomes a programmatic solution. Just that's my personal opinion. There are some players out there that have that proposition, and it's compelling. But I think the scale opportunity, it's not going to be a scalable solution. I think it's smart, right? And if you have a thoughtful editorial strategy with lots of different types of content, you can plan, for a 3, 6, 5, 12 months out. Maybe not that long. But I just don't see it as an effective branding tool. Yes, you can buy display ads. I'm not someone that, display works because of reach and frequency, right? At the end of the day. So cool, right? But at the end of the day, if it's about content or if it's about native, I just don't see it as being a game changer from a native perspective.
I agree. I think what you have behind this confusing concept of programmatic is still how the publishers actually want to monetize their own inventory. I've talked to premium publishers who say, 80% of my inventory will never be put out there because I can sell it through the direct sales channel, and that's how I can best monetize my site. So I think it has to be dealt with at the publisher level. What do they think the value of their inventory is? Do they want to sell it at their 100% premium levels through a direct sales channel, or do they potentially want to sell it for 80 cents a dollar in the programmatic world? I think it's at a publisher-specific level, and I think as a straight branding tool, you're right. It's probably not for that today. But I think as you look at the ability to target individual users, the supply potentially doesn't have to be enormous, because I would hope that as you get more targeted, each impression would be something specific to that person, and not everybody needs premium content or branding like messaging at that given time.
If I can add one thing to that, I think one tactic that's not being leveraged at all is creative sequencing, right? So if we are leveraging banner ads or whatever that platform is, there's still an elegant story that can be conveyed. And again, we look at retargeting. I get the same messenger bag ad over and over and over again. But if they understand who I am, right, and where I am in that customer journey, you can be a little bit more thoughtful about, not you personally, we as an industry can be a bit more thoughtful in how we deliver it.
Cool, and finally, I just wanted to kind of bring it back to the big theme of today, or the big theme of BTV is about video, the future of digital video for brands and advertisers. And to me, this has been very, very interesting to hear about sort of the opportunities out of stream through custom that could actually scale through these various scenarios. And I would be very grateful just to get your perspective on where digital video is going as an opportunity for brands, for your customers, and where it needs to go, both on the desktop through other screens, and how can this industry is about $5 billion, I suppose, digital video advertising, more or less. How could it grow? Where could it go? So, if you could start.
Well, I think it's a very important question. I think we're past the point of acknowledging that video is important. I think it then becomes a question of how do you best include video in your plan? Is it simply as an extension or a part of your TV buy? Is it a component of your actual just digital buy? And I think it just, again, like I said earlier, it ties back to consumption. We know that consumption habits are shifting. People are not sitting in front of the television like they used to. Television is always going to be the primary reach vehicle, but knowing that consumption is changing and the data that comes behind that and the channels that allow you to consume video, how do we create a model that replicates that change in consumption with video? And I think it's limitless in terms of its scale. It's as infinite as the publishers want to make it, as the creative agencies want to create units to allow it to happen, as technology wants to allow us to communicate at the individual level. So I think the tipping point certainly happened years ago. It's now how do we scale it and what's next, because its existence is not in dispute, I don't think, anymore.
John?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think video anywhere is really the interesting piece now that mobile OCR is really coming to the forefront. We can really start planning in a agnostic way. So maybe broadcast and digital dollars will start to kind of merge, and it'll just be kind of one budget, and we'll hit the TRPs however we hit them just to maximize success. So I think that's the really interesting piece, and that those dollars it won't matter as much anymore. It's just a matter of hitting your goals, and we do have to kind of note that people are watching TV less and less, so we have to find them on their tablets and their desktops, and that's what I think is really interesting for the rest of the year and into next year.
And I'll just add one last comment. So, and I'll bring up Twitter, right, and their acquisition of MoPub. I think that's a signal to the broader marketplace that not only mobile is a key part of their business, but the opportunity to programmatically deliver video at scale on mobile devices will, and be able to connect messaging across screens will be a game changer. I don't know if that's the next 6 months, but eventually, certainly. So mobility is honestly, I think, the last unknown. We know that behavior exists at scale, but I don't think it's we're executing with precision at this point.